Peace. Selah Shalom. With my comrade, Uriah Link Saga. So yeah, man, introduce to the people who you are, King.
No, I'm child of the Most High, Uriah. Simple, you know. Chanter, you know what I'm saying? Lover, you know. A man who trod in respect and reverence of this creation. You know, the creation created by the Almighty. Not Mother Nature, not all these things a lot of people talking about. The actual intelligence that everything else falls under. You know, and it is all, but it's still a single entity. And that single entity is still dual with female and masculine proportions. Yes, I.
True indeed. Now, you have a Caribbean accent. For those who don't know, let them know what island you representing.
Antigua, known as Dudley. One of the old terms for man from Dudley is Garrett. But yes, Antigua and Barbuda, 108 square miles. Easterly Island, Leeward Island, the most easterly island in the Caribbean. You know.
And what was that you was telling me? Because you was telling me that Antigua was an island where the natives used to come and do rites and ceremonies, or something to that effect.
Yeah, it was not a place where they resided. They only came and did certain little rituals and stuff like that. You know, the Caribs and the Arawaks are known to, you know, live in the Caribbean and some of the South American and Central American areas, and they would only come there for the spiritual or ritualistic, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Yeah.
And so originally they didn't live on the island.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So I know, you know what I'm saying, most people that see you turban, they'll identify you with Rastafari.
True that.
So when you come across them to say, you know, big up Rasta, and if you was a Rasta, what nationality or what do you represent as an identity, to let people know so people won't misjudge? Because, you know, a lot of times we see somebody and say, oh, Blessed King or Selassie, and you may not be a Rasta, you may be something else. You know, you may be a Sadhu, you know.
Yeah, straight up. And you know, even the thing with that is, if a man come and link me and say, you know what I'm saying, peace God, I'm gonna deal with the man and say respect, you know what I'm saying?
True indeed.
You know, and you know, as you grow and you live, you get into different things and you're influenced by different things, or you gravitate to different things, you know what I'm saying? But at this point, I could not say that I'm a Rasta singularly. Rasta man will say that is a problem. That is not a problem for I. I man is a free man. I'm a child of the Most High, the Creator. Before anything have a label on it, the Creator.
Done know. All right.
Yes, I.
So let me ask you this: How do you feel about the Rastas who classify Selassie as God? Because, you know, a lot of them express this view of Selassie as God the way that the Christians do Jesus, and they kind of put him in a similar, you know, box. So yes, how do you feel about the Rastas claiming that Selassie is God, the first?
Well, you know, first of all, when they mention God, I know the ranking system of God and the different heavenly titles, you know what I'm saying? But they're saying God as creator, and God is not the creator. The creator is the God of all gods. You know what I'm saying? The creator is the God of gods. I'm going to say that again for the people here, you know what I mean?
Right.
But regarding Selassie as God, there is a confusion with that, because some people say that he's Christ. You know what I'm saying? They say Christ will return. You know? Christ will return. But then if Christ is going to return, why would he return to the womb?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if there's no beginning and no end with God as you know God, Selassie has an earth strong. He has a birth date. No, that is not to say that God, our heavenly beings, cannot come and materialize in flesh and walk and try this earth, because all the holy books have, you know what I'm saying, little mystics and truths about these things.
Right,
so that is a possibility. But then to say that Selassie is the creator, that is a lie. And people need to stop doing that. It is a lie, because a lot of men who follow Selassie, who claim, you know what, we only deal with life, the man dead. The man flesh rot in the earth and went back to the earth. But where's the unseen force that causes, you know what I'm saying, matter to comprehend? Where does that go? Nobody addressing that. All they're talking about is, you know what I'm saying, Zion and a material place right here on earth. It could be, but then the universe is so far and wide. What else are going on? Before you came into existence, I mean, what did you know? And we live such a short time on this earth that we can't make these proclamations and these claims, man. You know what I mean? The creator is in everybody. And the creator is the God of all gods. And there are many gods too. But then that will be, you know what I mean, a later discussion, because there needs to be, you know what I mean, we need to straighten out the ranking order of these heavenly titles. God, Lord, Angel, Ashaza, Safs, Louis, these things. A lot of these things that I know a lot of people are not familiar with, because what? It's not in the Bible. Or it's not in the Quran. So you think that because they're not in these things, that these things don't exist. But there's a lot of knowledge out there that you don't... And sometimes these knowledge come from other races too. Everybody's stuck in this, okay, I'm black, so I'm going to get black knowledge. Black don't mean truth, my brethren. Because black people don't backstab me. And I'm sure black people don't backstab the people who will check this video. You know what I'm saying? So me, I deal with people who have a good heart and a good spirit, simple.
You done know. Let me, so you mentioned some terms that that we reference in the OAHSPE, being that we students of the OAHSPE, we studied the book. So let me ask you, how do you feel the OAHSPE compares to the Bible?
I don't feel there's a comparison. I don't think the Bible should be mentioned in the category of OAHSPE. Matter of fact, any book that deal with the highest science of history and time and a proper order, and even spiritual and religious things, I don't think anything can actually be compared to it. From the little that I have seen, now I'm not saying I'm well read like many people, but for the little that I've checked, because I've checked all these things to a degree, and when I check the OAHSPE, I said to myself, but wait, how is this in existence? And people are not dealing with this thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's no comparison. If you want the extended version, and the extended version before the version, it's the OAHSPE. The OAHSPE is actually the seal for this time. And it's funny, a lot of other holy books that been, you know what I'm saying, misrepresented or whatever, they actually have prophecies in these books that point in the direction of what the OAHSPE is saying in an extended version. You know what I'm saying? So whoever is influencing a lot of these books, they have a little slight knowledge of the things that are in OAHSPE, so they're able to prophesy certain things. But OAHSPE clears all these things up. Yes,
So how do you feel about the these debates? You know, the Hebrews debate and the Kemetic community beating up on the Hebrews. Now, how would you feel if they decided to put OAHSPE in that caliber of debates, and the Hebrew Israelites wanted to debate, or the Kemetic, anybody from the Kemetic community wanted to debate the OAHSPE? How would you think it'll rank up against, you know, those debates we've seen, the cities, the Polites, the Tazariaks, the ISUPK battles?
All these dudes will be checked, and it will be, you know what I'm saying, it will be a putting down of the ego. And then when that ego rises up again, it's not going to be an ego anymore, it's going to be something else. But that's the fight that they would have to go through. It's going to be very difficult, because a lot of the things in the OAHSPE, they're not going to accept so readily, because they're so locked into what they think. And you know what I mean? Man who doesn't have much experience, man doesn't even know what's going on the other side of the world right now. Even though we have all this social media, there are things happening that man just don't know. Mystics, you know what I'm saying? Shit with politics and religion that man don't know and will not know for his life. So many things just fade away. There's so many things. But the debates in them, you know, they're cool. You know, you like to see people reason and discourse, and, you know, iron sharpen iron, and build their mental, because at the end of the day, the spirit and the mental and the heart, they somehow combine, you know what I mean? And these things have to be perfected. You know what I'm saying?
True indeed.
But yeah, sometimes it's entertaining, but sometimes it gets too, you know, repetitive, and I feel like the level needs to step up, because of the information that I come across. I don't see these informations being presented. You know what I'm saying? They're not presented on these platforms. I mean, the Hebrews, seem to have taken 2014. I would say they took 2014 basically.
Okay.
Polite is not really in the circle anymore. I know he's been doing a lot of little movements and stuff.
Okay.
Haven't heard much from Selah since.
Okay.
That little, you know what I mean, that little thing that happened early in the year.
Right.
And Shaka Amos, he has a lot of information, but then where information stops and is limited, I mean, you might as well put it down. You have to keep seeking knowledge,
right.
and knowledge is not only in the avenue that you endeavor in. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is universal and abundant and never ending, just like everything else.
Right.
Never
right.
ending knowledge.
Right.
So how can you say, make a claim that, okay, Egypt is this and that is what, you know what I'm saying, that's what black people are supposed to identify with. Let me show you a farm. They're black born and copper skinned people who were originated on every landmass on the planet, but then for some reason Africa get all the credit. You know what I mean? And you know, everybody have sentiments toward Africa and emotion towards Africa. But these people who are Afrocentric and Pan-Africanism, they never once criticize Africa at any time, and that is bad. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean, all religions, they say develop in those regions. You have Egypt and you have high sciences, but there are things that happen in Africa that nobody wants to criticize. Of how Africa has the inability to unite. They cannot, if there's something going on with a black independent country somewhere else in the world, 3 African major wealthy states can't get up and say, you know what, we're going to send, you know what I mean, send some people over there to really settle this thing. Africa don't do that. Africa need to step up to the plate, and it's a damn shame actually. It's an embarrassment. Whoever don't want to hear that, well, you know what I'm saying?
Fire button then.
Yes, sir. Who don't want to hear that, they better start hearing it, because you're not going to go to Africa and be playing Dolly House like, oh, this is Zion, everything is cool, and they might kill, they might murder people over there.
See that?
People are dying over there.
So how you feel about the you know, you got the Kemetic communities. So how you feel about the Kemet community, the Egyptian Afrocentric community that you mentioned earlier, and the Hebrew community with this plight back to Africa and back to Israel? You know, they say, you know, the Hebrews say, you know, America gonna be destroyed. The UFO is gonna come take them up and take them to Israel, and everybody gonna be under captivity under Israel. And then you got the Kemetic community saying we need to go back to Africa, or all this Africa talk. But like you say, ain't nobody going over here, from over here to over there to really build it up. Or if you do, you may have a couple people doing it, but not on a national scale with government funding from the countries surrounding. You know, within Africa, I should say. So how do you feel about that mission back to Israel or Africa?
Well, you know, it's funny, you know, even the Rasta people, they're on that
including
vibe
them too,
right?
yeah.
They're on that vibe too. And, you know, like the Rasta man will be the first to say, you know what I mean, forward ever, backward never. But then they will try to tell you that going to Africa is forward and not backwards. But then we were sent away from there, and if we're going in that direction, we're going back to our mother. But you see, the way I see it now is that if you're a child of the Most High, which in every living, you know what I'm saying, thing or person, they are a child of the Most High. Anywhere you set your foot, you know what I'm saying, if you're African there, or if you're an American, wherever you be, you're black, you're white, wherever you are, that is the spot. That's the spot, you see? We want to jump here, we want to jump there, and jump there. And all we're doing is creating bastardism. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong if you decide that, yo, I'm going to Africa to go live, and boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But just know that our land masses is the creator land masses. You know what I'm saying? It's not as easy as people think. To just say we're going back to Africa is not good enough. I think it's an excuse, because as you say, King, there's a lot of hard work involved. A lot of the African leadership over there it's not up to standard, it's not up to par. You know what I mean? A lot of black countries, matter of fact, that have their independence and so forth, even in the Caribbean. You know, they're just like anywhere that has governing bodies. You know what I'm saying? There's mishandling of money, and there's force involved in shutting certain people up and getting away with certain things. So what man have to do is basically work in his own spiritual self, redeem his own soul.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you might even get cut down too. But then if you deal with your soul right, you have to know that this unseen force inside of us is going somewhere. It has to.
Right.
It has to. There's nothing on the earth that man doesn't know. There are no secrets. There are certain specifics that he doesn't know. But we already passed the scenario where when this flesh dies, there's something going somewhere. We know that. That is not something to... It cannot be misunderstood. Many cultures of man, the countless people who have passed, they know these concepts also, and it is real. We see things, we hear things. People even see spirits.
Right.
And have encounters with them, like I have. I'm not a liar when it comes to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a liar when it comes to that. I've had encounters myself. So I know that the spiritual world is real. It's not a joke. So if you want to be materialistic and say, okay, I'm going back to Africa, you're not going to live forever to enjoy that Africa that you read about or have in your head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the universe and the heavens are much bigger than Africa.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Africa's small.
So, alright. So, back to the Rastafari for a minute. You know, dealing with this whole concept that Selassie is God.
Yes, right.
And you know when you listen to the reggae music, you have a lot of the artists. I hear it in Sizzler music, Capleton music. They constantly screaming Selassie name all through the music. Now, when you went back and listened to Bob music, you rarely heard Selassie name even mentioned. So it's like they done idolize Selassie like Jesus. So just going on that. You know
the funny thing about that king, all short man history, tens of thousands of years, men have been worshipping men king.
Right.
There are different time periods where it go down and come back up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They always have your small minority who say, okay, there's no God, there's no da 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 da. But for the most part, everybody identify with God, and they always see this God as physical. And then they somehow get to the notion that they can identify this God. You know what I'm saying? When they see him or read about him and say, yeah, that is God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I saw something today on Facebook. You know what I mean? Yeah, I deal with social media too. You know what I'm saying? I know what to deal with. You know what I mean? So on Facebook, somebody said, well, if every race come out of Africa, you know what I'm saying, out of the black man, how is it only the dark-skinned black man is chosen? And these are the things we have to contend with. Because they say that everybody come out of black. So then that means everybody has a chance to be chosen then. Well, I already know that everybody is chosen regardless. But even just on what y'all are locked into, think about that for a second. Black man produce all the races, but then all of a sudden only the black man chosen. So your children don't get any inheritance. Mother Africa, your children don't get any inheritance. Your white children, your copper, your brown, your red, they don't get any inheritance. How can you not love your children? So we have to deal with that again. You know. You know, I look into Selassie, you know what I mean, for myself for years. And I was never read of the Bible. It wasn't good enough. It was not good enough for me. It was not enough. You know what I mean? Some people say them glory in the Bible and this and that. It's a material at the end of the day too. A dead thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that thing inside you is what man's supposed to cultivate, and that is real. You know what I mean? And yet still, yes, we do get manuals. We do get text and scripture and literary work that we're supposed to check. They come through channeling even. You know what I'm saying? Some of the highest ones come through channeling. A lot of men like to manipulate things with their writing, using their own opinion and so on. I mean, mankind has reached to a level where we're intelligent enough to know that opinion don't mean shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Because, as I say, every man that born in the earth met everything else here already. But man done here. Men and women. Already here. You live your short like a space, but then you're saying, I know who God is. I can recognize God. What make you think that you can understand these complications? But as I say, I know the ranking system of the heavens, what God actually is, what Lord and Lord God actually is. So, from my perspective, I can see why you all think that way. Because, yeah, maybe at a certain time period, the actual God came down and materialized and trod with a group of people or a thing. And they actually saw some superfly, supernatural sci-fi with their own eyes. And they document it. These things shuffle through history and get rewritten and da-da-da-da-da. So we're familiar that these things are possible. But because they're possible don't mean that you can say, yes, that is it. You don't know why these things happen or when they're supposed to happen. Which time periods they're supposed to happen. Because they're actual time periods and systems that place certain, you know what I'm saying, things that happen in time. And it happens repetitively or happen over a certain course of time. But I know that y'all don't know those vibes because the Bible and the Quran don't present them to y'all. Wherever Hebrew texts and Hindu texts, they don't present those things to you. And I know that you don't know that because y'all have not checked a thing. And as time go on, you all will know what I'm talking about. Because this is what I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Y'all will know.
Real. And when you know they gotta learn the timetables of prophecy.
Timetables of prophecy.
See that's the new, like, you know, when you got the 5%ers or the Nation of Islam, they got their 120 lessons. You know, the Kemetic got they, you know, the Ma'at laws. Hebrews got, you know, Leviticus laws.
Yes,
well, the real laws is the timetables of prophecy. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to get a hold of that. Like the chart, we got it charted out on the wall. They're gonna have to understand that that's the basis right there. You know, that tops all of the you know, the charts, the doctrines, or the you know, the doctrines. You know what I'm saying? That's the standard doctrine.
You see, there's no chronological system. You know what I mean? No chronological order. The history is scattered. So while man studying Hebrew texts and so on in the walls of Egypt, what happened in Japan? What happened in the United States? Where their histories and their documents and what actually happened? Were they left out of all prophecies, all works of God or the gods? So we only check what we want to check for, and that is not enough. It's not
and like you said, you know, you got history all over. You got pyramids all over the world.
All over the world,
You know.
All over the world,
So did the Egyptians build all those pyramids?
See that?
Or was it a universal science at the time, being that, like you said, we know the title and ranks of the heavens. So when it's time to distribute invention to man, it's done universally.
There's so many different people with a particular thought pattern or thought process. You know what I'm saying? People who actually recognize the Creator without necessarily adhering to the restrictions of religions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I hear man say, oh, look, there are no sky gods. But it's ironic that everything that we know is in the sky.
Exactly.
Everything we know is in the skies. So how come there can't be sky gods?
Exactly. When man is in a plane, going from state to state, and he flying, and the man is a sky god.
You see that, King? You see that, King? Simple. Parallels.
You know, God is a title of authority. You in control of the situation.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So how do you feel about, you know, Selassie claims the lineage of Solomon. But then you have the Hebrew Israelites denying Selassie in the whole, saying, oh, he's Ethiopian. You know, the Ethiopians going to get slaughtered, all that nonsense. But how can they deny Selassie being a Hebrew Israelite when he proclaims the lineage of David? How do you have that right to say that?
No, you see, these prophecies are markers in time, just to show a connection of the past being able to show you a bit of something in the future. Sometimes we kind of blow it out of context. Oh, Christ can return and redeem everybody. Everybody's not redeemed. And no one man can come and redeem the whole planet. And then redeem the planet, and what about the countless that have passed and the countless that are to come? Why do you think that living in this present time, you're special in your small window of, let's say, maybe even 70, 80 years of life on earth? Why do you think that redemption is coming to sweep you up, but countless of people done gone and countless people are going to come? And presently there are billions on the earth. You see, the system is not what you think. From this place, transitioning to whatever other realm or dimension, is not what you think. You know what I mean? But
the Selassie, them, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the Hebrews, like, they deny Selassie.
It's a mistake. I mean,
it's ignorance, you know.
But then, no, he's a real man. That's the funny thing. He is a real man. He does have the title King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Conquering Lion.
Right.
So that means if you're dealing with this vibe, you're supposed to check for that. What has he done? What is he doing? Why is he always criticized, or why they always have some kind of sneak shit to say about the man? But then he has a connection to anciency and a lineage that is in your book. The book that you regard, that lineage is in the book as a high thing. One of the highest, if not the highest. But if you don't deal with it, that means you're lying to yourself. You're not a real Hebrew. You're not a real Hebrew because you're not dealing with the entirety. You picking and choosing what you want. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And then, now go ahead. Yeah.
What I was going to say is not even necessarily that topic, is that the braggadociousness on the street, making these claims out of this book and quoting scriptures. How many thousands of years, man, quoting scriptures?
Right.
Y'all been quoting scriptures for damn near a long time. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But then, one of these prophecies is going to be fulfilled of the destruction of America and so forth. Do you know of any prophecies after the destruction of America? Well, I know of a prophecy after the destruction of America, but you know what, like I'm saying, you guys get to a point and then that's it. And then your ego even take over and you add things or take away things, and then we get nowhere. You know?
True.
But I mean, I know every man wants to be identified with something or something powerful. Sometimes a man can identify with something not so powerful, meek and mild and humble, and inheritance worthy. We should check for that too. Yes, I.
Interesting, you know what I'm saying? Checking out, coming back to the mindset of some of these Hebrews, where they say, you know, we're not African, because in the Bible, you know, it says, you know, you got Noah, Hashem, Ham, and Japheth, and, you know, we descendants of Shem, and, you know, we not the Africans. And on the 12 tribe chart, it got all the 12 tribes in the West, but according to the Bible, it said that they'll be scattered in the 4 corners of the earth. But their doctrine shows that the 12 scattered tribes is all in the West.
That's a mystic, right?
So that's a conflict.
Yeah.
That exactly. they don't even address.
They're not dealing with fullness.
Exactly.
They're on partiality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
And
because you got Hebrew Israelites living in Africa.
Right.
You got Hebrew Israelites living in India. You got Hebrew Israelites living in Japan. They got the records of these things.
Yes, I. Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, I mean, like I was saying earlier, if an Islamic man greet me, I'm going to give the man honor.
Right.
If a Rasta man greet honor, if a Christian greet me, I'm going to give them honor.
Right.
If any man has the time to actually say a cordial hello, honor. You know what I'm saying? With no thought of whether or not his God is right or wrong. Simple as that. Who can do that? Who can be as free as that? Can't be as free as that. Because y'all scared. Y'all scared. You have to say, I am this and I am that. This is why even in the household, in many situations, people are always stepping on each other's toes, seemingly. You know what I'm saying? But if man just say, you know what, we both free. What the backside? Make we just cool. Everything will run in its proper order. You know what I mean? I love Son of the TV, man. That man really entertained me, you know?
True.
The different groups of guys. And you think about it, all the countless men who have done these things for years in many countries, reasoning about spiritual things or religious things or ancient things, history, science, whatever it may be, you know? who's to say that some man dealing with Egypt and Christianity or Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, all them vibes, is any greater than 3 scientists reasoning about solid, liquid and gas. Right. And that is all they deal with every time. Every thought pattern should have, you know what I'm saying, a positive influence to advance these particular scholarships or knowledges, you know what I'm saying? So
true. That's true.
Yeah, man, just have a bill, man. Bill and no bloodshed.
No bloodshed.
You know what I'm saying? Anything dead must bury. You know what I'm saying? And they can't bury it in your body. Why would you want to bury something dead in your body? You're not a graveyard. You know what I'm saying? So
what do you feel about some of the rosters in the Caribbean when they say Selassie live? In the sense of...
as he is man, physical flesh.
Right. The ideology, how they perceive it.
You know, there's parallels. The Almighty, the Creator always show parallels. If you see Selassie as a youth in a picture, and you see him aging, you see him as an adult, you know what I'm saying? You see him in his, you know, in his mid whatever. Then you see him as an elder or older person, and you see him growing and aging, slowing down in his actions and his body is. Everybody who ages eventually dies. Why not stay in the prime of his life for all his life? But according to OAHSPE, just say that, you know, I cut them down in their prime. Men have to go through rise and fall to rise again. It's simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Once a man and twice a child. Twice a child, that means if you're a child, you're pure. You become a man and you gain all this knowledge. And then if you're a child again, that means, say, through your experience, you know how to cleanse yourself now and be pure again. So that is all it is, ascension. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the attitudes and actions of men, even maybe of myself, I should say of myself, you can't get into certain heavenly realms with certain attitudes and certain things. So everybody's supposed to be dealing with that on a daily basis. I have to deal with it. True. You know what I'm saying? Even as I speak to you now, I am in my rounds. You know what I'm saying? I have to deal with them like any other man. Even Selassie have to deal with his rounds. As a man. Every man, you know what I'm saying? You're subjected to flesh. We are subjected to flesh. We are subjected to the realm. For instance, you have Superman. On Superman's home planet, he doesn't necessarily have these superpowers. But because of the distance he travels and coming to our Earth, and the way our Earth is made up, when he comes here, his molecular structure changes, and that is when he gets the superpowers. Because he's in a different place, in a different space. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what we deal with. You know what I'm saying? So if Selassie is in this realm, he's subjected to what we are subjected to as flesh and blood. Right. It is real. It is real. But you know the irony of what I know? Selassie could be given a job in the service of the Creator as to be a God for a world. And you know what the irony of all of this is too? Any man can achieve that once he goes through certain vibes. Man can become a God. And not a God as we say, what up God? No. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when you pass on and transition, you can be in the service of the Creator and be given the title of God through your works in these realms to govern a world in the universe as a God. As a God.
Heavy.
This is the primary education. That's
the primary education right there.
All worlds, primary education. But the unseen force goes someplace. There's a seen realm and an unseen realm. We know these things are real.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Alright.
Yes, I.
Anything else you want to address to people?
Man.
So much, man.
So much.
Chopping it up, man.
Everybody
crazy.
going through their own personal vibes, you know what I'm saying? Ups and downs. Everybody talking about the economy. Different parts of the world. I've been seeing something with these people in Guinea. You know, these native people have an aboriginal look, black man from that side of the world. You know, they going through a genocide, you know what I'm saying? They want the independence on their native land. And these things have happened throughout time, and really we have no control over it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people waste time talking about the Illuminati and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, people make money from these things. But I think when people are talking about the Illuminati, what they're doing, they're instilling fear into people and putting these entities or organizations on a pedestal that should not be. You know what I'm saying? Because these, you know, you can go through life and be the greatest of men or a good man, and somebody can still cut you down. So that means, say, if you are to go to a place, you're going to go there because of the weight of your heart and your soul and your actions. You know what I'm saying? You know, we all want to do well. We all want to have bad things to say about the place where we are in. Some have gone through a lot worse than others. People have lost children, their sons, and I mean, over time, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Murder, rape, you know, oppression, slavery. It's real. I mean, but for those who are protected somehow, who are in a place where these things don't occur as often as other places, maybe even a city or state close to you, I mean, you should give thanks for that. You should give thanks for that and appreciate that. It's real. You know. That is it. You know, we're going to talk again. Uriah, you don't know. All praises to the Most High.
Jah.
Jehovah.
All right.
Yes, sir.